Sure.
So we are talking about the universities, the
Yeah,
multi-university
the
with Nowshin from
multi-university.
Bangladesh, and we are listening to your ideas.
Okay, so about the university, like, of course, I've been applying, like, I tried to apply for the master's that I'll be working on, because, as I said before, like, bachelor I did for 5 years and I wasn't really into it. I didn't enjoy it because of its curriculum or the traditional um, educational system it was following. So I I am an enthusiastic learner. Okay, so like I am really excited about learning anything from anyone. You know, it's as long as it moving forward with my life, I'm into it. So I went through, like, when I searched about masters, I went like in Google, I was like unconventional educational curriculum. Okay, so like that was my
And
first word
conventional,
that I
exactly.
started. Okay, unconventional master's program.
And what did you find?
Okay, so I found a couple of one, but I went through and I liked three mainly. The first one was Architectural Associations is called AA in London. Okay, so there is a subject called DRL, Design Research Lab. It's done by Patrick from Jaha Hadid, the co-founder. Okay, so he is actually co-founder of that subject. And then the second one was IAAC, the university that we are talking about in Spain. Okay, and the third one was South California Institute of Architecture. So between these three, the type of subject that I was looking for is architecture with the future, advanced one, not the traditional one, where I can learn about new things, like virtual realities, experimenting with materials, sustainabilities, like with ecological experiments and stuff. Okay, so everything new, like not like a traditional masters in architecture or landscape in architecture. So then these were the three schools that I felt like, okay, I can look into it. So I then went into deep and looked through its curriculum or the subjects that they have. Okay, so the first one I did was Architecture Association in London, and the only subject that I liked was the design research lab that is like supervised by Patrick. But I didn't really liked their subject process, because after it I went through that IAC curriculum, and there is a master's in advanced architecture which is in 2 years. I instantly fell in love with them. I like instantly, it was like clicked. Okay, because let me tell you why. So for the first year they proposed four studios. Okay, one is a sustainable architecture, second one is an ex urban design, third one is digital matter, and fourth one is interaction with, like, you know virtual realities and like augmented realities kind of stuff. So first, on in the first year you have to have, like, you will be having four studios on like completely different subjects, just imagine. And then for the second year, for your thesis, you will get to choose one of those studios, and then you will have an extensive amount of work on it for a year. Just how cool is that? you know like, you would get to introduced in four different wings of architecture in just one academic course. It doesn't
Wow.
really happen. And above all, it's a design research subject. Okay, so there is no like conventional exam in theories and stuff. So like, you won't be pressurized by like, okay, I have to upgrade my grades and stuff. Well, of course there is like assignments and stuff that you have to submit, because
Mm-hmm.
they have to ultimately evaluate you at with something. But they don't really follow the conventional style or the approach that has been in here, generations after generation. So This is the thing that I liked about most about IAC. And the second thing is, you get to, if you will like in masters, in bachelor, sorry, for your thesis, you will be like doing a project that can be actually applicable at that moment in the current world with the advanced technologies and stuff. Okay, so like if you need funding, IAC can fund you, or like some European organization or like companies that been like, looking for this kind of technology, or like, trying to get in hands with some of these kind of technologies, or in the same department, they can fund you as well. And along the way, you can like build a prototype of this kind of projects. In Barcelona, there is a city, okay, just dedicated for this IAC. So like every year before graduation, there is like every project has there is a prototype of there. Just imagine how cool is that. And if you get funding, or like if that project really amazing, you get to extend it with financial aid, for about a year or second year as well. So like this is the reason I fell in love with IAC in the first phase. So when I applied for the master's program as well, and then there was a scholarship competition. I applied for that as well. Okay, so for the scholarship competition, they asked for a research proposal. Okay, so like you have to have a digital fabrication, and like how you address like some of the like revolting issues that has been all over the world. So I addressed air pollution with um, titanium dioxide. Like it will be working as a tree, like what tree does. It sucks in the carbon dioxide oxidation, and then like distributes oxygen and hydrogen. So the building will be doing the same thing. The photosynthesis thing. The building will act like the same way. So this was my research proposal for the competition, and luckily, there is the competition happened between 8 departments, and luckily I was one of the winners. So the total winner was 27.
Congratulations.
27, yeah, thank you. So it was really, I never thought I'll get in this year. I thought maybe probably I'll have to try another, like next year again. But
Mm.
thank God I got in with a scholarship as well. Because
Wow.
these kind of subjects are very expensive, like extremely expensive. And like without funding, it's really difficult to continue your like the tuition fees way above the average. Because of course you understand the subject value, because after you graduate, like your life will be completely changed, you know and they don't give you full scholarships. These kind of universities only provide you partial scholarship, because they know no matter how high is our tuition fees, student will be there
Mm.
eventually. So I hope it's worth it. And
Well,
I'm really looking forward to it.
thank you for all those tips. And
Yeah, yeah. So like that thing
help a
that I
lot of
said
young
about.
architects looking for unconventional type of learning, master
Okay. So like
program.
when I get in, I can probably like give you some ideas as well. And there is what they do, another important thing is they really believe in networking. you know so they don't like they're not racist. They're not like, okay, so this is the students that I'll be taking. They're like, it doesn't matter from like, say for example, I'm from Bangladesh. Like some people doesn't even heard of it, like they don't even know if it exists on map, like, to be honest. Okay, so but if a person is worthy enough to get in, they'll let they'll let them get in, because that person is willing. And like, of course, he has to be willing and his potential to go through it, because research is not an easy thing. And you can like stop in the between and like leave it for like complete 1 year, and you can be left, right? But when they're giving you a scholarship of that huge amount of tuition fees, they want to know that, okay, this student is worth paying for.
Understand.
If he or she has that ambition, she or she has that strength or that capacity or that skill to continue with this curriculum that we have. Because I asked, because of course the tuition fee is high, so I asked a couple of alumni like if I can work part time. So they were like, look, IAC is really difficult. Like the curriculum that they have, it will consume the whole day. You won't even have time for yourself. So working part time will be really, really difficult. But some people do it and then they can't continue with their farm and the IAC masters. Then they eventually like left out of the masters because they have to, you know,
Yeah.
like continue with their work. So I was like, okay, that's actually tough. But like like I was saying, so they are not racist. They are like accommodating students from different countries, and there of course is a language barrier, Spanish. But they're ensuring students like, okay, if you can speak in English, as long as you can, it's completely okay. And then accommodation systems, they're offering it as well, like not their own, but they can like give a list of things that you can go through. And they're really, really helpful. Like, let me tell you, the admission coordinator, like of course I don't know anything. So I am, oh, another thing, like I'm applying for Aga Khan scholarship. Okay, so I went through the first phase, the eligibility phase, because there is two phase. The second one is you have to like submit the documents, and then if you are shortlisted, then they'll call you for interview. So I don't know how long it's gonna go. I have the submission in this 13 31st March. So like fingers crossed. I hope I make it. But so like it's like I confirmed my admission in 15th March. Like in 15 days distance, I asked them to like, I am applying for the scholarship, so I'll be needing this documents, because since it's a financial like scholarship, so they ask you for every details, like your accommodation, then moving cost, travel cost, the tuition fees, every detail, and it has to be official. Like I can't provide it. So I asked them, and they were like, "Okay, we don't have a format for this, but give me a few days. I'll get back to you as soon as possible." And then they have like like open call session on their website. So like, since it's a new type of curriculum, so there arises a lot of questions about like how it's taught. Of course it's been written detailedly on their booklet, but you can't really know what happens. So like, they're always prepared and always on hold, like previous alumni, like mostly they handle the open calls are mostly handled by alumni. Okay, and they're really, really friendly, and you can have some like reliable informations because they has been living there. They have already lived there for 2 years already. And the alumni, and the another thing IAC does is, mostly what happens is you can be a teacher's assistant or a research assistant to fund your masters. Okay, IAC doesn't do it. IAC doesn't do it because the amount of skill you has to be for it, you're not for your first year. Okay, so
Uh-huh.
you can only be offered for a teacher's assistant or a research assistant after you completed your first year, and not everyone is offered it. Only who are eligible or who has the capability, they are offered it. And it doesn't pay. Just imagine how amazing that offer is. Like, without the payments, people are actually like killing each other to have that chance. And the teachers, like I attended their open call. It was amazing. Like you can have a conversation with the department of head or the teacher that taught that subject. No matter how silly that question is, they're really amazing and really, really friendly. So I'm really relieved that I'm so lucky that I was able to get in, and I'll be spending my next 2 or 3 years among those people. So like I can't really imagine how it's gonna be. I'm so excited about it. And like, like I'm saying, I honestly, like, you seem just as excited as me about this project. you know this is how I feel about every project that I start doing. So send me those. Okay, you have sent me those documents about the project, right? Okay, so I'll go through it and I'll notify those students from Hong Kong and China as soon as possible.
Perfect.
And you will send me those IAC documents that for resonant, right?
Yes.
So that I can refer to a student. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm sorry, I was like babbling